Hello, we're Pentax Tips,
And today we will be talking about the current Pentax K-mount lineup and roadmap.
a lineup displays the current manufactured Pentax lenses available for the K-mount system, and the roadmap suggests the upcoming lenses planned in the works. However, side note, all Pentax K-mount lenses are entirely compatible on the modern Pentax bodies, opening up an incredibly large catalog of film-era lenses, still plenty sharp and produce beautiful images on digital sensors.
This video is only covering the current digital lineup. We've provided a link in the description to the lineups available for all the current Pentax systems. The K-mount roadmap is divided into 2 pages. The first page displays all current lenses that will cover the smaller APS-C image circle. The second page displays the lenses that will cover the K1 series full-frame image circle. To help further guide us, there is a small legend in the corner that we will explain now.
A DA lens is generally one that covers the APS-C image circle, and the DFA lenses are one that cover the full-frame image circle. Although there are a select few DA lenses that are capable of covering a full-frame image circle as well. We'll get to that in a bit. But generally, the DA are APS-C and the FA are full-frame. Both formats are available with what I'll call a regular lens, which is more consumer-oriented. And then the Star Series lenses. The Star Series are the expert or prosumer quality of lenses in the lineup and are generally more optically corrected and nearly clinical in their rendering.
Another series designation that is sort of missing from the legend is the limited series. The limited series doesn't necessarily mean limited in stock quantity, but instead the limited series represents characterful, artistic, and dreamy lenses. Still very sharp, but perhaps not as optically corrected and feature-rich as the Star series. We'll start with the less cluttered full-frame lineup. For a bit of history, Pentax was slightly late to the digital full-frame market. When they did arrive, they undoubtedly wanted to release digital full-frame lenses in an expedited fashion to give their users a standard lineup. Since Pentax is a smaller player in the market, they decided to acquire some third-party optical designs to jumpstart the availability.
This allowed Pentax to fill in the 15-30, the 24-70, and more recently, a 70-210. However, there are features seen in each lenses that are unique from the third party, so these are more than a simple rebadged lens. Anyway, Pentax currently only has one Star Series full-frame lens within the standard Holy Trinity, and that's with their 70-200 f2.8. I expect Pentax to fill in the 15-30 and 24-70 with their own Star Series lenses in the future.
More recently, Pentax released their Star Series 50mm and 85mm f1.4 standard and portrait lenses. These lenses are beasts and are optically corrected, ultra-sharp, and produce some of the best images I've ever seen.
Moving a bit further down, we see the all-rounder for the full-frame format, the travel, the walk-around lens, the 28-105mm lens, covering a larger focal range, the jack-of-all-trades but master of none. And then there is the highly regarded super telephoto 150-450mm, which I hear is excellent for birding and is just awesome for that long extra reach. It's the longest lens in the current K-mount full-frame format. And then we have the full-frame macro lenses with the 50mm and the 100mm. Again, optically clinical, just excellent lenses.
The next section displays the full-frame limited lenses with the classic 31mm, 43mm, and 77mm. These lenses were available in the film era and are still incredibly impressive on digital sensors. These lenses produce some of the best images that are full of life and expression. Optically, these lenses produce incredible pop, contrast, and color saturation to their images, and have recently been reissued with Pentax's latest optical HD coatings.
Moving on, we see 2 remaining FA lenses with the 35mm and the 50mm. These lenses are more readily available and are not as feature-rich as some of the other options. But it's nice to still see affordability in the lineup, and these lenses still do certainly deliver optically. The 3 lenses on the right were originally designated as APS-C lenses, but since have been included in the full-frame lineup because the image circles are large enough to cover the full-frame sensor. These include the 200mm, the 300mm, and the 560mm prime lenses, with the 200 and 300 being Star Series lenses. These lenses are optically outstanding and quite feature-rich, although the older SDM motors have been known to be quite a bit slower than the modern SDM motors in the autofocus department. The 560mm represents the longest prime lens still being manufactured by the K-mount lineup.
Moving on to the APS-C lineup. All of the previous lenses mentioned are completely compatible with the smaller APS-C format, and therefore those full-frame lenses are mentioned again on the APS-C lineup. We'll start with the APS-C lineup in their Star Series holy trinity of the 11 to 18mm, 16 to 50mm, and the 50 to 135mm. All of these are optically outstanding lenses. However, the 16 to 50 and 50 to 135 are a tad old now, and are known for their sketchy SDM motors. We'll talk more on these lenses when we discuss the roadmap. We have the DA Star Series all-arounder travel lens with the 60 to 250mm and an earlier Star Series 55mm 1.4 prime again, with the unfortunate SDM reputation. A quick comment here. I've been ragging a bit on the SDM systems, but I need to make it clear, it's only the old SDM systems that were susceptible to failure. The new lens designs have fixed their SDM issues, and they are great and reliable. I really wish Pentax has stopped using the SDM designation for their motors just to get away from that bad reputation, but I don't make the decisions around here.
Moving on, we have two regular series lenses in the same focal range with nearly the same aperture. These are two telephoto 55 to 300mm lenses. What's going on here? First off, these lenses may be in the more affordable range for Pentax equipment, but are still optically excellent lenses and are pretty highly recommended in the Pentax community. The difference between these two lenses are the connections on their mounts. The EDWR is of the older KAF3 screw drive autofocus motor and is compatible with all cameras. The newer EDPLM-WR-RE is the newer KAF4 mount and is only compatible on cameras newer than the K50. Two more things to mention at this stop is that this lens is an RE lens, which stands for retractable for compact storage and travel, and the PLM motor is like grease lightning fast. It's a focus-by-wire autofocus system, and it's blazing fast and highly reliable. Currently, it's the only PLM on the lineup, but more on that when we discuss the roadmap.
Further down, we have the classic kit lens that comes with most entry-level cameras, the 18 to 50 or 18 to 55. This is a similar case with what we just described with the 55 to 300 and the use of different mount connectors. The 18 to 55mm is the older screw drive mount that is compatible across all cameras, and the 18 to 50 is the newer mount that also retracts. We also have the telephoto lens kit with the 50 to 200 and the upgraded lens kit with the 16 to 85mm. Next, we have two all-arounders, the incredibly versatile 18 to 135mm and the super zoom 18 to 270. Great for travel when you don't want to change your lenses often, but not the most optically impressive lenses, which is the trade-off with such a long zoom reach. That may be why the 18 to 135 is a bit more recommended than the 18 to 270, but they both still produce great results.
Next, we'll mention the only fisheye in the current lineup, and that's the 10 to 17mm. And next, Pentax current teleconverter with the 1.4 multiplier, or as they like to call them, rear converters. Just below that, we have the APS-C set of limited lenses with the 15mm, 21, 40, and 70mm. And also we have the first macro limited with the 35mm. These lenses are extremely compact and produce lovely, characterful images. Just eye-catching. Really fun lenses. They make you inspired to go out and start shooting. Just love these lenses. Further down, you can see... Oh wait, we forgot a limited. There's one more further up on the line. But what? It's a zoom, not a prime, and it has variable aperture? That sounds a bit weird. Plot twist. It's one of the best Pentax lenses ever produced. It's the highly regarded 20 to 40mm limited. Incredibly highly regarded, this lens blows me away. I can't wait to own it one day. Just beautiful lenses that pop right out of the picture and give you a hug. This lens is like Pentax signature lens, just amazing. Really would like to own it one day.
Going back to where we left off, we have the widest current K-mount prime with the 14mm f2.8 and the Fantastic Plastics 35mm and 50mm kit prime lenses. Both of these might be highly affordable, but are still highly recommended for their entry-level access to wide, faster aperture prime lenses. Last but not least, well, sort of, is the 40mm XS. This was a special designed lens that was released with the extremely small K01 camera. This lens is only 9.2mm wide, incredibly small, but still plenty sharp, saturated, and characterful. It's actually the same optical formula as the 40mm limited, but without quick shift and in an extremely small body.
And that just leaves the roadmap. These are the lenses that Pentax is letting us know that they're working on and hope to be released in the near future. Now, there is a bit of controversy with releasing roadmaps because sometimes lenses are removed or upgraded or changed and people get upset because they were expecting something that didn't come to fruition. However, I love looking at the roadmaps and it gets me excited to see what's coming next. First, we'll mention the only APS-C lens mentioned in the roadmap. It replaces the Star Series 16 to 50mm. This is undoubtedly a replacement for the bad reputation on the 16 to 50mm SDM autofocus motor. And not only that, but it's a PLM replacement, just blowing it out of the water. This thing is expected to focus extremely fast, and it's a 2.8mm. This thing is going to be extremely impressive. It will likely be on the top of my list of must-haves. Just for the PLM alone.
Next, we have the first modern full-frame limited lens, the DFA 21mm. The focal range fits really nicely in the lineup and will provide a highly sought-after ultra-wide-angle full-frame prime. I'm really curious what the aperture will be, as it hasn't been mentioned yet, but I'm sure this lens will be an absolute stunner. The next two on the roadmap are only descriptively mentioned and only give us approximations of what they might be. First, we have the large aperture wide-angle single focus lens, which I imagine will be a Star Series 35mm in the same caliber as the recent 85mm and 50mm f1.4 Star Series lenses.
And last, another full frame but regular series mid to long range zoom. I'm guessing is going to be the first full frame millimeter PLM with a focal range of about 70 to 300 millimeters, and maybe even with a retractable design. Okay, we made it through the roadmap. Tell us what you think in the comments, and remember, if you like this content and want to see more like it, please like and subscribe.